It started like any other quiet evening on Route 17, the kind of night where the world seemed to pause between heartbeats. The air was cool. The hum of crickets filled the distance, and the flickering light of an old gas station sign buzzed against the lonely dark. But within minutes, that stillness would shatter, because what began as an ordinary stop for a tired single mother was about to become the kind of story people whispered about for years. And if you stay with me till the end, you'll understand why that night changed the lives of everyone there. Forever. Rachel Miller had been running on empty, not just her car but her life. A single mother of two. She worked double shifts at a diner and still somehow found herself counting pennies by week's end. That evening she had just finished her second job, her eyes heavy and her spirit worn, driving back home through the endless stretch of highway when the fuel light blinked red. She sighed, pulling into a small, dimly lit gas station that looked like it had been forgotten by time. Her kids Emma and Jake were asleep in the back seat, their soft breathing the only thing that kept her grounded. She stepped out, rubbing her arms against the chill, and started pumping gas. That's when she noticed them. 3 men leaning against the side of the station store, cigarettes glowing like little red eyes in the dark. They were loud, laughing, the kind of laughter that didn't sound friendly. She tried not to make eye contact, hoping they'd ignore her, but luck wasn't exactly Rachel's companion these days. "Hey, sweetheart," one of them called out, his voice thick with mockery. "You all alone out here?" Rachel kept her eyes on the pump, pretending not to hear. Another one chuckled. "Ow, don't be shy. We're just being friendly." Her heart pounded. She pressed the button harder, silently begging the numbers on the pump to move faster. But the men started walking closer, their boots crunching on gravel. One circled to the front of her car, another to her side. "Pretty lady, like you shouldn't be alone this late," the first man said, leaning in close enough that Rachel could smell the alcohol on his breath. She took a step back, clutching her keys. "Please, I just want to finish and go home," she said quietly. "Maybe we can help you with that." The second one sneered, brushing his hand against her arm. Rachel flinched, pulling away. Fear clawed at her throat, but she tried to stay calm. Her kids were in the car. She couldn't let them wake up to this. Inside the gas station store, the clerk looked up, then quickly looked back down. He wasn't going to help. Rachel's chest tightened. She could hear one of the thugs laugh, a low, ugly sound. But then something shifted in the air, a low rumbling sound in the distance. It started faintly, like a storm brewing far away. The men paused, turning their heads toward the sound. The rumble grew louder, deeper, the unmistakable growl of motorcycle engines. Within seconds, headlights flooded the gas station lot, cutting through the darkness like fire. One bike, then 2, then half a dozen rolled in, their chrome glinting under the flickering light. The thugs stepped back instinctively, confusion flickering in their eyes. The bikers parked in a wide circle around the gas station, engines still rumbling like thunder, ready to strike. At the front was a tall, broad-shouldered man with a gray beard and a leather vest that read, "Iron Shadows MC." He cut the engine, his piercing eyes scanning the scene, and landing on Rachel. "You all right, ma'am?" he asked, his tone calm but commanding. Rachel swallowed hard, nodding slightly. They wouldn't leave me alone." The man turned his gaze toward the 3 thugs. The quiet that followed was heavy, thick with warning. The leader stepped off his bike, his boots crunching the gravel as he approached them slowly. "You boys got a problem here?" he asked. One of the thugs tried to play it off with a laugh. "Nah, man. We were just talking. Didn't mean anything by it." The biker took one more step forward, towering over him. "Didn't sound like talking from where I was." Behind him, the other bikers fanned out, a silent wall of muscle and leather. One of them walked toward Rachel's car and gently peeked inside to check on the kids, giving her a reassuring nod. "Listen, we don't want any trouble," the first thug stammered. The biker leader tilted his head slightly. "You already found it." His voice was quiet, but it carried the weight of command. "Now get in your truck and go, before we decide to change our mood." The men didn't argue. They scrambled to their pickup and sped off into the night, tires squealing. The bikers didn't move until the red taillights disappeared completely. Then the leader turned back to Rachel. "You sure you're okay?" he asked again. Rachel finally exhaled, her hands trembling. I don't know how to thank you." He smiled faintly. No need. You just get home safe to your kids. As she nodded, her eyes filling with tears. I thought no one would help. He looked at her kindly. Mom, not everyone out here's bad. Sometimes, angels just wear leather. The bikers stayed until she finished fueling up. One of them helped check her tire pressure. Another gave her a small stuffed bear for her kids, saying it was a gift from the club's charity rides. When she finally drove off, her heart was lighter. Not because the danger was gone, but because she'd seen something pure that night. Weeks later, Rachel found herself back at that same diner she worked at, exhausted but pushing through her shift. The door opened, and a familiar deep voice called out, "Hey there, Miss Miller." She looked up. It was the same biker leader, sitting at the counter, smiling warmly. "I never got to say thank you properly," she said. He waved it off. "You did just fine, but you can thank me with a good cup of coffee." She laughed softly, pouring him one. Black. Always. They talked for a while. About her kids, about his club's charity work, about how people judged bikers without ever knowing them. There was kindness in his eyes, a quiet strength that reminded her that good still existed, even in the darkest places. Before he left, he reached into his pocket and slid a card across the counter. It read, "Iron Shadow's Brotherhood family always comes first. If you ever need help again," he said, "call that number, day or night." Rachel nodded, her throat tight. "I won't forget what you did." He smiled. "Just pass it on someday. That's how the world gets better." As he rode away into the sunset, the roar of his bike echoing into the distance, Rachel stood at the window, holding that card to her chest. That night at the gas